What if I told you that the biggest obstacle standing between you and your dreams isn't a lack of talent, intelligence, money, or opportunity? It's fear. More specifically, the fear of failure. Think about it. How many great ideas have never been started because someone was afraid they wouldn't work? How many careers have never been pursued because someone feared rejection? How many businesses, inventions, books, and life-changing decisions have died before they were ever given a chance? The truth is that failure itself isn't what stops people. The fear of failure does. And that's exactly what we're exploring today. Why do we fear failure so much? Where does this fear come from? How does it secretly sabotage our success? And most importantly, how can we overcome it? Because once you understand the psychology behind fear of failure, you'll realize that it's not a wall, it's an illusion. Welcome to the Knowledge Studio. Let's begin. Imagine you're about to take a huge risk. Maybe it's starting a business, applying for a dream job, launching a YouTube channel, speaking in public, or pursuing a goal you've always wanted. Suddenly, your mind starts asking questions. What if I fail? What if people laugh at me? What if I embarrass myself? What if I'm not good enough? These thoughts feel real. But here's what's interesting. Most people aren't actually afraid of failure. They're afraid of what failure means. They fear being judged. They fear looking incompetent. They fear disappointing others. They fear damaging their identity. Psychologists have discovered that humans are naturally wired to avoid social rejection. Thousands of years ago, being excluded from a tribe could threaten survival. Today, that ancient survival mechanism still exists. Your brain often treats social embarrassment as if it's a life-threatening danger. That's why failure can feel so painful, even before it happens. The fear isn't logical, it's emotional, and emotions often feel stronger than facts. Here's the paradox. The people most afraid of failure often create the exact outcome they want to avoid. Why? Because fear leads to inaction, and inaction guarantees no progress. Think about someone who wants to start a business. They spend years planning, researching, watching videos, reading books, preparing, but they never launch. Not because they aren't capable, because they're waiting for certainty, and certainty never comes. Success requires action. Action involves risk. Risk creates the possibility of failure. There is no path to success that avoids failure completely. Every successful person you admire has failed. Not once, not twice, but repeatedly. The difference is that they viewed failure differently. They saw it as feedback. Most people stay stuck because they think, if I fail, I'm a failure. Successful people think, if I fail, I learned something. That mindset changes everything. When we look at successful people, we usually see the highlight reel. We see the success. We rarely see the failures. We celebrate the victory. We ignore the setbacks. Think about inventors, entrepreneurs, athletes, writers, scientists. Almost every major success story contains countless failures. The problem is that society often hides those failures. We see the final chapter, not the entire book. Imagine if success came with a visible record. Every rejection, every mistake, every embarrassing moment, every failed attempt. You would quickly realize that failure is not the exception. It's the rule. Failure isn't evidence that you're incapable. It's evidence that you're trying. People who never fail are usually people who never attempt anything difficult. The safest life often becomes the most limited life. Fear of failure doesn't always appear obvious. Sometimes it disguises itself. It becomes procrastination, perfectionism, overthinking, self-doubt, waiting for the right time. Many people believe they're being cautious, but often they're simply afraid. Perfectionism is a perfect example. You tell yourself, it's not ready yet. I need more time. I need more experience. I need better equipment. But deep down, the real fear is exposure. If you never finish, nobody can judge your work. If you never launch, nobody can reject your idea. If you never try, you never risk failure. But you also never create success. Fear creates an invisible prison. The door is unlocked, yet people stay inside because stepping out feels uncomfortable. The greatest opportunities often exist on the other side of discomfort. Let's change the way we think about failure. Imagine a child learning to walk. They fall hundreds of times. Do we call them failures? Of course not. We expect mistakes. We understand that falling is part of learning. But somewhere along the way, adults forget this lesson. We begin expecting perfection. We become afraid of mistakes. We judge ourselves harshly. Yet learning still works the same way. Progress requires experimentation. Experimentation creates mistakes. Mistakes produce growth. The people who succeed aren't people who avoid failure. They're people who survive it. Failure is information. Failure is experience. Failure is education. Failure is preparation. Every mistake teaches something that success cannot. Instead of asking, what if I fail? Try asking, what if failure teaches me exactly what I need to know? That question changes fear into curiosity. And curiosity is much more powerful than fear. Let's finish with practical tools. Strategy 1. Focus on action, not outcomes achieved. You can't control results. You can control effort. Measure success by actions taken, not outcomes achieved. Strategy 2. Make failure smaller. Don't think about failing forever. Think about taking one small step. Small actions reduce fear. Strategy 3. Expect imperfection. Nothing starts perfect. Every expert was once a beginner. Strategy 4. Learn from every setback. After every mistake, ask, what can this teach me? The lesson is often more valuable than the loss. Strategy 5. Build courage through repetition. Confidence doesn't come first. Action comes first. Confidence grows from evidence. Every time you face fear, you become stronger. Let's end with a powerful truth. Fear of failure never completely disappears. Even successful people feel it. The difference is that they don't let it decide their future. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is acting despite fear. The people who change their lives are not fearless. They simply refuse to let fear become the author of their story. So the next time your mind asks, what if I fail? Ask a better question. What if I succeed? What if this opportunity changes everything? What if this risk leads to growth? What if failure is actually the first step towards success? Because the greatest tragedy isn't failing. The greatest tragedy is never trying. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to The Knowledge Studio for more insights on psychology, mindset, and personal growth. And remember, failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of success. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.